Hi, I'm Rashonda Kate. This is Reading with Rashonda. We are reading House Behind the Cedars by Charles Chesnutt. We are still in chapter 18. I don't even know how long we've been in chapter 18, but it's been a while. It's kind of a long chapter, but it's fascinating and interesting. It's conceivable we'll finish chapter 18 today, but I'm not making any promises. So when we left off, Warwick was talking with the judge and saying that he just figured he could pass and then be who he was going to be. So this is like when he was young and talking with the judge. So Warwick says, "I had thought," said the lad, "that I might pass for white. There are white people darker than I am." "Ah, well, that is another matter, but—" The judge stopped for a moment, struck by the absurdity of his arguing such a question with a mulatto boy. He really must be falling into premature dotage. The proper thing would be to rebuke the lad for his presumption and advise him to learn to take care of horses or make boots or lay bricks. But again he saw his old friend in the lad's face, and again he looked in vain for any sign of Negro blood. The last earmark would have turned the scale, but he could not find it. So the judge is part of his brain is saying, I should tell this boy, just be a black person and learn how to take care of horses or make boots, because that's all black people can do. But he's like, but I'm looking at him and he looks just like a white boy. I don't see anything in him at all that makes him look black, and he looks like his daddy. Woo. Okay. So the judge continues talking. "That is another matter," he repeated. Have you Here you have started as black and must remain so. But if you wish to move away and sink your past in oblivion, the case might be different. Let us see what the law is. You might not need it if you went far enough, but it is well enough to be within it. Liberty is sweeter when founded securely on the law." He took down a volume bound in legal calf and glanced through it. "The color line is drawn in North Carolina at 4 generations removed from the Negro. There have been judicial decisions to that effect. I imagine that would cover your case, but let us see what South Carolina may say about it." He continued, taking another book. "I think the law is even more liberal there. Ah, this is the place. The term mulatto," he read, "is not invariably applicable to every admixture of African blood with the European, nor is one having all the features of a white to be ranked with the degraded class designated by the laws of this state as persons of color, because of some remote taint of the Negro race. Juries would probably be justified in holding a person to be white in whom the admixture of African blood did not exceed 1/8. And even where color or feature are doubtful, it is a question for the jury to decide by reputation, by reception into society, and by their exercise of the privileges of the white man, as well as by admixture of blood." Oh my. I'm going to read this again. "And even where color or feature are doubtful, it is a question for the jury to decide by reputation, by reception into society, and by their exercise of the privileges of the white man, as well as by admixture of blood." So this is saying for this South Carolina law that if a jury is trying to find out or determine if somebody is black or white, not just by looking at them, but also it says if color or feature are doubtful, which apparently in Warwick's case they're not doubtful, it is a question for the jury to decide by reputation, by reception into society, and by the exercise of the privileges of the white man. So basically, if you are acting like a white man, living as a white man, people perceive you as a white man, then the jury will say, why, yes, you are a white man. And that's exactly what Warwick did. Oh my gosh. And by their exercise of the privileges of the white man. That means a lot today in 2021 while we are hot in the trial of Derek Chauvin. That phrase is by their exercise of the privileges of the white man. That is a hot topic today, and apparently it was back in when was this written? 1901? When did we say it was written? I don't remember. Oh my gosh. So if you are living like a white man, if people believe you are a white man, if society receives you as a white man, and if you act like a white man by exercising the privileges of the white man, the jury will call you a white man. John Warwick sounds like he will be fine, except for I also know that despite what the law says about such things, it does not always go that way. That is just the truth of it. Was it Dred Scott walked into court a free man and left a slave? So anyway, and I knew that, but I'm reading The Audacity of Hope by Barack Obama, and he pointed that out. So that turn of phrase is not mine. It's Barack Obama's turn of phrase. But just because a law says something doesn't mean that it is going to be enacted the way we interpret it. And I'm not saying we all interpret the law the same. And I'm glad we have judges and lawyers and juries who are faithful to do that work, but they are in the societies that they are in. And they make determinations based on, their experiences and how they believe the law is going. So anyway, I'm way off track, which means we probably aren't going to finish this chapter today, but I try. I try. All right, so I'm going to keep reading. Then I need not be black, the boy cried with sparkling eyes. No, replied the lawyer, you need not be black away from Patesville. You have the somewhat unusual privilege, it seems, of choosing between two races. And if you are a lad of spirit, as I think you are, it will not take you long to make your choice. As you have all the features of a white man, you would, at least in South Carolina, have simply to assume the place and exercise the privileges of a white man. You might, of course, do the same thing anywhere, as long as no one knew your origin, but the matter has been agitated there in several cases, and on the whole, I think South Carolina is the place for you. They're more liberal there, perhaps because they have many more blacks than whites and would like to lessen the disproportion. We got too many blacks here. Some of y'all can be white. That'll be fine. So, as you have all the features of a white man, you would, at least in South Carolina, have simply to assume the place and exercise the privileges of a white man. All right, then. So I keep going. From this time on, said the boy, I am white. What a powerful statement. He walked in the office black. He walks out of the office white. Softly, softly, my Caucasian fellow citizen, returned the judge, chuckling with quiet amusement. You are white in the abstract before the law. You may cherish the fact in secret, but I would not advise you to proclaim it openly just yet. You must wait until you go away to South Carolina. And I can learn to be a lawyer, sir? Asked the lad. It seems to me that you ought to be reasonably content for one day with what you have learned already. You cannot be a lawyer until you are white in position as well as in theory. You cannot be a lawyer until you are white in position as well as in theory, nor until you are 21 years old. I need an office boy. If you are willing to come into my office, sweep it, keep my books dusted, and stay here when I am out, I do not care. To the rest of the town, you will be my servant and still a Negro. If you choose to read my books when no one is about and be white in your own private opinion, I have no objection. If you choose to be white in your own private opinion and read my books, I'm not going to stop you. I love that. If you choose to be white in your own private opinion. Can I choose to be white in my own private opinion? Two things. One, I don't think so. And two, I'm not inclined to do so. But that's really fascinating to me. I choose to be black in my own private opinion. Okay. Are you pondering? Because I am. Like, what am I choosing in my own private opinion? And how does that bear how I exhibit myself to the world? This stuff is fascinating. And this is why we are reading this book and others like it. All right. When you have made up your mind to go away, perhaps what you have read may help you, but mum's the word. If I hear a whisper of this from any other source, out you go, neck and crop. I don't even know what neck and crop means. Sounds like maybe some sort of horse term, but he's going to get booted out if he tells anybody. It's basically like, I will disavow all knowledge of this if you go public. I am willing to help you make a man of yourself, but it can only be done under the rose. So I am willing to help you make a man of yourself, which is essentially saying, I am willing to help you be white, because if you are not white, you cannot be a man. Remember at the beginning of the book, John was like, I'm a man, this is a man, I'm a man, man. This is where he got it from. I am willing to help you make a man of yourself. Because clearly, if you're Black and all you do is, what did he say? Work with horses and make boots, then you're not a man. But if you're white, you are a man. And he said, I am willing to help you make a man of yourself, but we have to do it on the DL. We can't tell anybody. I can't get caught up in this. There was a lot of self-preservation in this statement. So for 2 years, John Walden openly swept the office and surreptitiously read the law books of old Judge Straight. When he was 18, he asked his mother for a sum of money, kissed her goodbye, and went out into the world. When his sister, then a pretty child of 7, cried because her big brother was going away, he took her up in his arms, gave her a silver dime with a hole in it for a keepsake, hugged her close, and kissed her. Nev mind, sis, he said soothingly. Be a good little gal, and some of these days I'll come back to see you and bring you something fine. In after years, when Miss Molly was asked what had become of her son, she would reply with sad complacency, He's gone over on the other side. As we have seen, he came back 10 years later. So this is actually a fantastic stopping point in the book. There's a little break here, so I'm going to stop reading. But next time we'll make it through chapter 18. But wow, okay, so we have just read about how, when, and why Warwick decided to pass as white. And we have to question the term passing as white. Is he passing as white, or is he just white? Apparently, according to the South Carolina law, if he's only 1/8 Black, and that's probably accurate, like his mom was, I think, half Black, half white. So he would get a fourth Black from her, and like, but all white from his dad. I think that makes him an 1/8 Black. I don't know. Race math is not jiving with me today. But South Carolina law says if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, it is a duck. If you act white and look white, then you are white, according to the South Carolina law. So in South Carolina, he's legally white. And if you are legally white in one state, what's stopping you from being legally white in all the states? So was he passing as white? Or really, when he's outside of South Carolina, is he passing as Black? What is race? Is it what's on your phenotype? Is it what's inside of you? I mean, ultimately, it's what you choose, but some people have choices that other people don't. And I find that fascinating. I'm a light-skinned Black person. I'm not light enough to pass as white, but there are people who assume I am Black and something. Both of my parents identify as Black. But there are a lot of people who assume one of my parents is Black and one of my parents is something else. They don't necessarily assume my other parent is white, but they assume something. Like, and I'm Black and I always have been, and I'm happy with that. But like, I don't even know what that says about me. Could I pass as something other than what I feel I am? Or like, what are my options? What do I feel like? I just have the option to be Black, but maybe I have other options that I don't know about. John certainly had options. Like, um, okay, so I'm rambling because I'm thinking about all the things, and I hope you are too. That's what we get when we read Charles Chesnutt's House Behind the Cedars. I'm Rashonda Cade. This is Reading with Rashonda.